The following is a production of cprundown.com. The views and opinions expressed by the host of this podcast are those of the individual and not of any affiliated companies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rundown on Fun, a weekly podcast covering the Cedar Fair Entertainment Company, the amusement industry, and the business of fun. Here are your hosts, Carsten Anderson, Evan Schultz, and Kyle Hu.
All right, guys. Hey, guess what? We're back. And yep, this is not Kyle's voice.
Kyle?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. So unfortunately, our awesome host, our fearless leader, is extremely busy and he's not going to be able to make it tonight. But I do have Evan with me, which is exciting because me and you went to Winter Chill Out and Kyle didn't because he was stuck in the palm
Yeah, who needs Kyle anyways?
Yeah, right.
It was cold and snowy and Kyle was in the warmth, so
yeah, like the 80 degrees and things like that. So it's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, whatever, okay, let us experience our home park, Cedar Point. We were able to do it.
First time in a few months.
Yeah. So Evan, we got. Let's just jump right in. Let's just.
Yeah. This is the episode. It's the Winter Chill Out Extravaganza.
Yep, there it is. Winter Chill Out Extravaganza. We just came up with the title just on the fly, just like that.
Extravaganza of fun. Ding.
Let's just say it was extremely hard to get tickets this year.
Yes.
I'd say way harder than previous years. But luckily we were able to have some friends that were able to donate some of our tickets that got picked, and because we didn't get picked. So if we didn't have awesome friends, we wouldn't definitely not have been able to go. So,
and on top of that, they had the first group on Saturday. So we were the first to see everything and hear everything. And should we just start from when we walked in the front gate? Some gifts given to us right away.
Yeah, let's start. We're gonna go through the whole entire tour, like if you were on the tour with us, and just follow along with us.
Everything.
And we're gonna try to describe it as much as possible. And at the end, we're gonna share all of the news and all the facts and everything that we heard throughout the day, and obviously throughout the, I guess you could say, I don't know, whatever.
I guess especially because our Q&A was kind of like the last big thing before just going and shopping. So
yeah,
kind of works out nicely for us.
Evan, you wanna kick us off?
Yeah. So we started at 9 a.m. Well, actually, no, we were allowed in at 8:30. But
yep.
And there they gave us our awesome gifts for this year, which I think is probably the best gift they've ever given us for Chill Out. They gave away Tweet Up style coins. They have the Winter Chill Out logo and they're in color, and they have they also have A Kid Again, the charity that Winter Chill Out supports, I guess.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
On the back of the coin. But yeah, it's a super cool coin. So I was very worried about losing it all day, as Carsten knows.
Yes, Evan was a little twitchy
about that. They also gave us a winter hat for A Kid Again, so that was nice.
Yes.
And then
it's got Cedar Point's logo on it.
Does it? I didn't really look at that.
I believe it has Cedar Point's logo on it and A Kid Again. I'm almost positive on that. So
yeah. And then we stopped at Hugo's to use the bathroom, and then we were off to our first stop. But I think on the way to the first stop was the more interesting things. We want to talk about what we saw on the way to the train engine house.
Yeah. So we're
surprising things.
Well, obviously,
big one.
Matterhorn was going to be gone, and also the Scrambler was also going to be gone because they've got to move it. So I think Tony shared a picture, I think in December or something, maybe at one of the holiday parties I was at, but he showed the land, and it was pretty much just a flat piece of ground. So literally where
it is now.
Yep, where Matterhorn was and where Scrambler was, it's just a flat piece of ground. There's still dirt on it, and there's no concrete, there's no nothing. So we're not sure what's going to happen. The bathrooms still remain in the middle. And then
the juice shipper stand is gone.
Yes, the juice shipper stand. I can't talk.
Shipper.
Yeah, right. No,
you all know what he was trying to say.
Yes, that stand is gone. Also, a little surprise is the dive, the
dive in,
which was like you can get like popcorn,
drinks,
kind of
right
like a
across from
refreshment stand.
coasters and like
Mhm.
by the flower wall for Valraven, whatever
And
you call that.
that was gone.
That's
There's
out of nowhere.
yeah, it's all gone and everything. And then if you look towards the right, where the amazing Topville Dragster area is in Iron Dragon, that's where we first noticed the track was missing from Iron Dragon. Evan, you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So I don't know if it was one piece or two pieces of track, but the track directly behind Topville Dragster or right in line with Topville Dragster, if you're standing on the Iron Dragon Midway looking right at Topville Dragster, the track in between you and Dragster, at least the first like layer of it, right after the second lift hill, is completely removed. I don't know if we want to speculate as to why.
The
supports were removed.
Mhm.
We'll get into that later because we could see where they were currently laying. But
Yep.
I don't know if you want to speculate, but I mean, obviously there's a reason that they removed the Iron Dragon track right behind Topville Dragster, whether that's to extend the launch or build a spike or whatever. But
or maybe they're just doing some really crazy maintenance with Iron Dragon.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what Tony insinuated, that Iron Dragon's just undergoing some maintenance, but like, come on.
right. I mean, the fanboy in me is hoping that my big picture
spike.
My big picture is literally this is literally just my imagination. We weren't told anything. Is they're going to get rid of the footer that that Iron Dragon currently sits, and they're going to create like a giant footer to hold a big spike up in the air, and then it'll be a combined concrete footer,
Iron Dragon in there,
where it'll be able to use Iron Dragon. It'll be on there, and then also it'll be able to have a support to hold up said spike if it happens.
Well, the spike is, I mean, that's going to be a huge support structure if you're talking probably close to a 500 foot.
If they go that high, I mean, maybe they don't.
Yeah, but, that's true.
But anyway,
well, there's a lot to think about there, but so just take it for what you will. We could talk more about Dragster, but we're going to just continue on the path of the tour. So next was the engine house, which is something we've done a few times, but at this point it was like 28 degrees out, so it was really nice to step in there and warm up for a minute.
Yes.
Didn't really see anything different that we haven't seen, but I don't know.
It was cool that they had all the engine house pieces, like things like that they use, or like a steam.
Yeah, they had random like old pieces off of trains and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We saw one of the train cars was getting repainted, if that means anything.
And it was cool because you could actually go in one of the train boilers that they set up an orange light, and you could actually look inside. Like that's where the coal and that's where like everything happens, and it was kind of cool to take a picture in there.
Yep. And then so after that, I think this was honestly the coolest part of the whole day for me, because I've never done this. I think you probably have with the old Ride Warrior Club. But
they did it. I believe they did it in 2020 because I was looking at my previous pictures and we had masks, or maybe 2021. Sorry, but we had masks on. So maybe it was 2020. I can't remember. It was
I never got to go by Millennium.
Yeah, we got to.
Or you know what? I think there was a year that somehow like our group got, like the group I was in got screwed up and we missed part of the tour or something.
Maybe that's what missed,
because you always used to do the later tour and I was still always the early one.
Yeah.
When they still only just did it like a bunch of tours.
Because we did it because Lauren and I have our gator masks on, and it wasn't like crazy underneath like what we got to see. It was literally like under the first drop, and we got to like take pictures right next to the.
Okay, yeah, I've done that. But I haven't, and I think the only thing I could think of that ever did was a Ride Warrior Club, like probably 5 or 6 years ago. They got to go through the Millennium Force tunnels. We got to do that on Saturday after walking kind of along the railroad, like the left side of the Millennium Station. And then
that was really cool to see. We walked like right next to the hill, and you could see, everything.
Literally right under the hill.
Right under the hill. We got some really good pictures if you check on our Facebook page. We've been posting throughout the week. But
yeah. So then we went through actually the second Millennium Tunnel. That was the first one we went through. And then we were kind of like in the little infield in between like the tunnels and the like second straight hill and the third straight hill on the return trip. And then we went through the first tunnel.
Yes.
Traveling against the grain or against the direction of travel, the ride. Then we were kind of under the first drop. And after that, we went to Slaughterhouse and did
Yeah.
a reverse lights on tour of Slaughterhouse. We went through the exit.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see. You know, I didn't see a whole lot of people taking pictures of it, but it was really just cool to see with the lights on. And
Yeah, it's gross. That's why.
yeah, right. You know, just to see everything going on and stuff. I do want to say they had like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know if they planned on having music and stuff, but it seemed like Halloween's music on for like some of the time,
Yeah,
and then it was
and then
like
part of it was like the
poppy
summer
music and
playlist
stuff.
and
So I don't know if it was
Throughout
like
the
the
whole park. It
playlist
was
that they
weird.
ran during Haunt and like it was, or Halloween's, where it was like during the day it was like normal music, and then like when quote unquote nighttime was like when we saw in the morning, like it was all that Halloween's music and stuff.
yeah.
So it was
But then at
interesting.
some point, like we heard regular park music, and it was really strange to have the midway music on in the
Yes.
park during Winter Chill
Yes.
Out, which I didn't like. I feel like Winter Chill Out is supposed to be quiet and serene.
Yeah, I don't mind it maybe in a section here and there or something, but yeah, I really like just the quietness and just hear the birds.
It just made me more sad that the park wasn't actually open.
Right. I was like, oh my gosh. Well, it didn't help that it was like 40 degrees and it was like getting sunny, and I'm like, ooh, let's.
We've had days with worse weather there.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Oh
with
yeah.
the park open.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
For
so
sure.
then what was next? They brought us to Frontier Town and they gave us kind of a half hour just to wander. We didn't get to go in any behind the scenes areas back there, but we did get to go up and close to Steel Vengeance, which we normally can't get across the train tracks during Winter Chill Out. So that was kind of cool to get some snowy pictures of Vengeance, probably for the first time.
I think so. I think that was probably one of the first times we've seen Steel Vengeance like actually completed and everything with snow on it. So
yes, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
The little bit of, I guess you could say, news out of Frontier Town is Skyhawk's getting a new fence.
New safety fence.
Yeah, but
it's like throughout the whole entire queue, which is interesting.
It looks like they're just doing a taller fence to really keep people from climbing and getting into the ride area. I was telling you, Carsten, how probably half the times I rode that last year, I'd have ride operators yelling at people on the outside, like to step away from the fence because, you know, people and especially little kids and, you know, whatnot. So they're going to have a taller fence that looks like, I'm sure you could still see through it. So you could still see the ride. But yeah, that's really the only news out of Frontier Town. You notice we're really trying to get ahead to the big news area of.
Right. Well, I mean, we could talk about it, but then we could talk about it at the end. But I was going to say, when we did look over to the left, you see a giant dumpster full with right in front of Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
And they're starting
Chick-fil-A
to
go bye-bye.
It looks like they're starting to gut it. So thoughts on Chick-fil-A going away? You like it? Do you not like it?
Well, let's see. So I used to eat in 2020. That was my go-to. Probably 2019 as well. But then Farmhouse opened. And if I'm going to eat in Frontier Town, I'm just going to go to Farmhouse. So I'm not too disappointed. I'm excited to see what comes next. I don't know what they might put in there. I mean, we've heard rumors of certain places that might close, if not this year, in the near future. But those weren't confirmed by the park. They have such a wide variety of food already that I'm not really sure what they could put in Chick-fil-A. I don't know. Maybe they rip it out and put a flat ride there. I don't know. I mean, and I also think that if they do keep it a food place, it's very important to have another food place that's open on Sundays, because that was very brutal on some of the busy Sundays of the year, not having a food place open right there.
Maybe that's going to be like, I don't know. I'm just thinking outside the box, but maybe they decide to have like a big like vegetarian / salad stand that could go in there. And then it could be like maybe for, you know, the vegans. Cause I know, you know, the one that did go away that we did pass up is what was that?
Wild Turnip. Formerly Famous Dave's, formerly a bunch of different names.
Right. It seems every year there's always a new name for that ride, which is interesting.
Yeah. Not ride. Definitely not a ride.
I'm sorry. I said ride. Wow. I mean, yeah.
It's had a roller coaster existence.
There we go. Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking. But no, yeah, definitely, because I mean, maybe they move all of that over there. Maybe.
I like that idea. And That would probably be super beneficial because it's a much bigger place, and maybe they could just rip out. Maybe this is like getting like years and years and years and years down the road, but maybe they could rip out the Wild Turnip building and Snake River Falls and use that whole area. I don't know. There's a lot. They probably don't even. Yes, log flume. Subliminal message.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. We could have a show about our 10-year plan, but that would probably be like year 9.
Right.
So that's like super far down the road. They probably don't even know what they're doing with it yet. But
yeah, so it'll be
interesting to think about.
It'll be really interesting because I was looking, like, there's so little tiny little construction projects all around the park that we'll talk about a little bit. But like, it's going to be interesting to see, like, on opening day, like what stays or what is what, or if like the buildings are completely gone, or if there's, you know, like new food options and things like that we didn't even think of. Like,
well,
you know,
and you got to think, I mean, so we're recording on the last day of February. There's only 2.5 months until the park, not even 2.5 months until the park opens.
67 days.
Thank you. So there's a lot. Like, if they haven't, I'm sure they know what's going to replace Chick-fil-A this year or whatever.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But there's a lot of work to be done. So it's going to be really exciting. We're probably going to hear, my point with that is we'll probably hear within the next month or so what actually is happening with Chick-fil-A, with Wild Turnip, with Dive In, or if anything with Dive In, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's super exciting. And
maybe
we'll get into what we were told later on, but
I was gonna say maybe they'll turn that location into a little shop for like glow stuff, but they got rid of the actual building. So
yeah,
maybe they're just getting rid of it just to have more midway space, you know.
Something maybe with Wild Turnip, because we saw this, we kind of forgot to mention at the beginning, was so the walking taco stand is, the walking tacos are moving in with Derby Dogs. I think some people misinterpreted that and made it seem like Derby Dogs is going away. It's not. Well, the walking tacos are moving in with it, but the walking taco stand is going to now just be an alcohol vendor. Maybe that's what we see with Wild Turnip, because that's what happened with Wild Turnip at like all of Haunt last year. Maybe that'll just be a bar.
Yeah, maybe.
And then, like you said, all the vegan stuff will kind of be centralized at Chick-fil-A. Or ex-Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting to think about. Lots of.
It'll be interesting. So in 66 days, because Ohio State Day is is on that Friday. So
so we'll see.
We'll be able to see for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, so let's move on.
Yeah. Then we got hot chocolate.
We did.
That was my first time in the Backbeat building. Listen, I love Farmhouse, so I had no reason to go to Backbeat this year. So this was my first time inside a Backbeat since like 2021. And we got hot chocolate there, and that was very nice. Nice little warm up. And then
I was gonna say, hang on, you totally skipped something. You skipped something very, very popular. You skipped the sign shop.
Oh, the sign shop. Duh, that's like one of my favorite parts too.
Yeah, that's so cool. It's like it's hidden behind like right
in between the Gemini bathroom,
and like
it's behind Gemini bathrooms
kind of thing. Yeah.
But
oh my gosh, let's just talk like 5 minutes about the sign shop.
There's so much to look at.
Yeah, they've got an old Wicked Twister sign.
The Wicked Twister sign.
Yeah, right. They like the big marquee that used to be like on.
Don't know what they're doing with it, but
they just it doesn't move. I don't think it always is like in the same spot, but. They've got an entrance Wicked Twister sign. They've got, you know, the guess my weight game. I mean, they've got every sign. So whenever you see any Cedar Point sign, it literally comes out of that shop. Literally.
And when that thing is torn down, it gets moved back to that shop.
Right.
As we saw with Wicked Twister and Dive In, that was sitting in there, looking nice and sparkly and new, because that place isn't that old.
Yeah.
The thing I thought was super cool, and we were kind of confused about this, was so they had, if you remember when Valraven was getting ready to be announced, the 18 weeks leading up to it, they had a wall outside of Valraven's construction site.
Yeah.
It was the legacy of roller coasters at Cedar Point or whatever. And it went in chronological order. Each week they would put a new plaque up for each coaster. So like week 1, they put Blue Streak and had some stats about Blue Streak and a nice picture. Then week 2, they put up guess Mine Ride would be number 2,
Yep.
and so on and so
so on.
forth.
Yep.
So they had all those on display. Those have been hiding for years, well, since Valraven. And they also, for some reason, added a Steel Vengeance one, even though Steel Vengeance wasn't even a thought yet at that point.
Yeah, I
But
thought that was interesting.
Maybe that means they're going to bring those signs back and display them in the park, which would be cool because, we are the roller coaster capital of the world. And
Or maybe
they're
that's
going to really lean into that this year.
Maybe that's just going to be another tease for Dragster.
Maybe that'll be on Dragster's wall.
Dragster. Maybe.
Well, then
why not?
We need the Wild Mouse plaque, but maybe they're waiting till it opens so they have a real picture of it.
Right. And then, you'll go over there and they'll maybe they'll put it on the giant fence over there.
That would be cool. They should do that.
That'd be cool.
Maybe that's why they dug those out again. And they're, why don't we display them?
Right. Or maybe they just found them and they're like, hey, that looks cool,
Yeah. Good thought.
Also, another thing really quick out of the sign shop is they have their own printers. So like all the banners, all the material, all the maps, all of everything that you see at Cedar Point is all pretty much done there for unless it's like some kind of huge job that they're not able to do. And then they also do we've also heard that they actually do some printing for other Cedar Fair parks. At least that was a few years ago. They said that
I remember seeing Copperhead Strike stuff in there a few years ago.
So it's pretty cool that they have their own giant, print shop, and they've got I remember at one of Cedar Point's Tony's blogs, he had if you always look at something that's printed by Cedar Point or Cedar Fair, you'll always notice a code either in the bottom or on the left, on the right hand side or the back or whatever, and you'll be able to see what year it was printed, where where it was printed, and how many versions and stuff. Because then they can actually look that up on the computer. If they need to do a reprint or redo or something, they're able to look it up by the code.
Oh, that's cool.
That was
makes sense.
And then
in case someone get damaged in a storm or something weird like that.
Yep. And then we also had some cool Power Tower open later today, which is kind of really old.
Yeah, old signs from probably the early 2000s.
Right.
Late 90s.
Yep. And your juice sipper location sign was there, and a Mean Streak stuff was all there, really cool.
There was a Mean Streak sign, like the entrance sign hanging on the wall. And then all the Boneville guys sitting there during the off season.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Not sure why that's where they sit, but I guess because it's close to the train. But
yeah. So the Bonevillians, I guess you could say, they all
citizens of Boneville.
Yeah, they all come in and they get warm and they get retooled and I'm sure broke down and stuff gets fixed on them and so on and so forth. But you can play with a bunch of buttons and things like that. They also had the disaster transport stuff that was on display.
They had a video from the queue line from disaster transport. That predates me. I don't remember that. But
I don't remember it either. That might have been right when opening year or something.
It was a pre-ride video. Is this Universal?
And then they had the little R2D2 robot thing.
Yeah,
that was really cool on display.
I think it was in the station.
I think so. I think is when the cars would pull out or pull up
on the opposite side of the station.
It would be on the right hand side, across the tracks or something. I think something like that.
Disaster.
That was pretty cool. They also had while you're looking it up, I'll keep talking. They also had the bird. If anyone remembers from Castaway Bay, they had the parrots, the talking and singing parrots and stuff and everything. And yep, he's showing the picture. It is across. That's exactly where I said.
Literally, yeah. So if you guys remember the disaster transport station, you load into it and across the way is the track, and then it says launch area. Right under the second A of area, there's the little robot dude. That's what we got to see up close and personal.
That was cool. It was cool. And then you can see, all the electronics and all the motors and all the push buttons and things like that goes
especially
into
for haunt stuff.
Yep, fog machines, and we got to see the what is it? The chainsaws that they use and stuff.
Which are real chainsaws, as we discovered, just with the chain taken off of them.
Right.
So
those were actually recently. Those are brand new. Those are so.
They just put fake blood on all of them, so they look old and crappy. But yeah. So yeah. Anyways, planning and design shop is the actual title of that building, and it's just fun in there. It's always my favorite stop.
Yep. So
no matter how many times I've been in there.
if you ever get to go to Winter Chill Out and you've never been, or make sure you go to that shop. If
There's a
it's
lot
not
of cool concept art of a lot of the older coasters like Corkscrew and Gemini and Magnum, Raptor maybe. A lot of cool stuff in there.
yeah. No, yeah, definitely. All right, so let's move on now.
Yeah, to the big thing.
Yeah, so
Well, we got hot chocolate.
We
Get
got
that
hot
right.
chocolate. It was really good. We were like, oh, cool. And then sometimes on winter chill out, they have these areas where you have to put your phones away and your cameras away and whatever else that records away, because they don't want the public to know what they're doing, but they're letting the winter chill out guests get to see for the first time, because you pay a premium price for your ticket, to where Tony wants it to be special for the winter chill out guests. Well, lo and behold, Evan and I were like, okay, well, we're putting our stuff away, whatever. They're like, okay, well, we're going to walk by Topville Dragster. First of all, we thought that wasn't going to happen. And then we're like, okay, then we're going to put our stuff away. Second of all, they're like, oh yeah, you can take pictures and videos and all kinds of whatever you want. And we're like, huh? And so, yeah.
Yeah, their only caveat was we had to like kind of keep moving, but
Right. I mean, but that was cool. That was really, really cool. Evan, you're really good at describing stuff. You want to describe what we saw? So we saw the crazy wall and everything was kind of the same in there. And then we got towards like almost right around the station area. And then the wall gave way. And then what happened next?
So, so you guys remember probably like whatever the last time anybody listening was at the park, or last time we talked about it really, was basically all that was left of Dragster was the tower and the track on the tower and the bigger supports and footers and whatnot leading up to the tower, like on the launch and the brake run. But back then, the cement in the station was still there. The queue gates were still there. The booth was still there. The control panels were all still there. The exit ramps and stairs and all that was all still there. Mm-hmm. Well, they've been busy since the park closed. All of that is gone. At least all the cement and gates. The tower's still there. The track is still there. Supports are still there. The finish line's still there. The yellow awning, like the station building, is still there, but the cement is gone. All of the queue is gone. All the transfer track is gone. The cement where the transfer track was is dug up and gone. The exit is gone. The photo booth is still there, which is kind of puzzling because given its location in between the ride and that missing Iron Dragon piece, it looks like that's probably the next thing to get torn down.
Well, I was gonna say really quick. I was looking at the pictures that I took, and it's really interesting that the photo booth actually, they have the TVs and the Fun Pix computer and everything all like bagged up and like protected from the elements. So maybe it's gonna stay. I don't know.
Maybe they're gonna keep those monitors and move them somewhere else. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they haven't had time to move whatever, but it's very, it's very interesting. And then it's like, just like how you said, literally, if you literally just put like a yellow top, like the yellow station with the roof, but then got rid of all the concrete,
everything else,
all the concrete, until you get to pretty much, I'd say, where the
entrance was.
Well, no, I would say they have the supports all the way until the bleachers. So you've got your concrete, cement footers, and then you've got your columns on top of that, where literally it's like everything else is all gone. It's like, whoa, it's crazy. So I don't know if they're like planning on like keeping that specific, that specific.
Maybe if they extend the launch, it'll be launching out of that station, the old station. I don't know, man. The grandstands are still there.
It's fun. Yes, the grandstands are still there.
Dang, you said fun.
Sorry. And yeah, the rundown on fun. No, it's fun. Cause like, we don't know. It's crazy. Cause like a lot of times, a lot of this stuff gets leaked on the internet, and you're just like, okay,
or even like a year and a half before it was announced.
Right. So it's cool when you find out like all the specifics, but like, it's literally, we're going off of like nothing. Every time we see something from the park or we're able to visit or something. Like, it's like, oh wow, there's another puzzle.
It literally feels like
piece to the puzzle.
pre-computer age.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we really don't. We all have our ideas, but we really don't know what's going to happen.
And then
that's a rarity nowadays. So it's a lot of fun to really get the speculation. And
we skipped over this. Forbidden Frontier is not coming back.
Oh yeah, that's done.
Yeah. So the park announced that Forbidden Frontier is not coming back. Now, I guess I think Tony said it in a different Q&A, and it wasn't ours. He said that they might move different elements. Don't quote us on this, but supposedly they might move different elements from Forbidden Frontier. So I'm thinking maybe they're going to remove that awesome, cool swing set that all the kids love and maybe put it somewhere else. But then that makes me think, I'm like, well, wait, if Forbidden Frontier's not opening, because me and like, we would always go to the island to go, get the steak meal with the shrimp and stuff. And then last year we didn't go at all. I went a few times on the island just to see what the crowds were like. I didn't go all the way because it's just so stinking long and really hot. I don't know why it's hot over there, but it's just hot over there. And like the place was not very busy at all. The only place that was busy was the bathroom area or and the playground. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. But then maybe they decided to go crazy again. Here's another dream, and they decided to do like Dragster reimagined and put a lot of whatever is reimagined over on the island.
Maybe, or my thought was a GCI over there in like 2029.
Right. So they've got a lot of little projects, and it's just. Yeah. So and the only sad project, and I'm sorry, and you're on the same boat as me and a bunch of other people, is they need to get on the project bandwagon of fixing the bathrooms. That's
like I will
build a ride.
Put your extra on hold until 2025. Give me new bathrooms.
No, well, let's say yeah. So okay, how about you do a new ride and a new bathroom, a new ride and a new bath. So
like the closest like 3 bathrooms every new ride get a revamp.
Yeah. But I mean
the gatekeeper bathrooms weren't even redone when they.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so crazy things.
Anyways, yeah, we were talking about Dragster.
Yep. And so it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what comes about. And it's interesting that they. When we were walking by Dragster, you could see the supports. I didn't see the track. I don't know if you saw the track for Iron Dragon.
It was so the Iron Dragon supports were sitting like kind of like next to where Dragster used to launch from.
Yes.
The track that was missing was sitting like underneath Iron Dragon or like by the station.
Okay.
For Iron Dragon, like under the staircase to the station for Iron Dragon. I have it in one of my pictures. I didn't see it at when show out. I saw it when I went back and looked at my pictures. I was like, oh, there's the track. So it's still there, just waiting to get put back because it was confirmed that Iron Dragon will be open for 2023. No worries.
So. Yep. So it is it's interesting. But anyway, let's move on, or we'll talk about this all night. So after that we got to go to lunch, but before lunch we got a big helping of cheese.
Yes.
A big helping of cheese. Like if you like cheese,
yes,
this was
and other coaster cars.
Yes, and other coasters. You could see Millennium Force trains. You could see Mavericks trains. They're all underneath the picnic pavilion. I can't remember exactly what they call it. Evan, do you know what they call it?
Point Pavilion.
That's it. Point Pavilion. And pretty much it's almost like a maintenance bay, and they kind of like set up shop there and put the ride vehicles there and work on them. And
I think those are where the ones that are ready to go back out sit until the weather's acceptable.
Yeah. And then
maybe, but they also had all the Wild Mouse cars there, and two of them were there to be shown for us, the purple car and the cheese car. And we got to sit in the cheese car.
That was cool because it was really
with Wild Mouse in the background.
Yeah, it was cool. With they had the Wild Mouse in the background, and you almost felt like you were on the track, I guess, but like really far away from the station. That's what I was getting. So
They actually had a piece of like that. I think probably what will be transfer track sitting there for the car.
Yeah.
Like so that whole thing's gonna get moved over. It was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Comfy seats. I didn't mind them. Kind of
For sure. And then let's
hard to get
skip
out of.
let's skip the Q&A because obviously we had let's talk about lunch and then we'll skip the Q&A and then we'll finish the tour and then we'll talk about the Q&A at the end. So lunch, what did we have?
So
Because you're the foodie, remember?
yes, I am. So first thing that came to mind was Mac Shack. And that was our last Mac Shack meal, as we later found out.
Yeah, I was kind of sad about that. I mean, I like mac and cheese, but
not Mac Shack.
Mac Shack mac and cheese wasn't the greatest, and then there was
No.
never a line for it either. So obviously,
If it
no
was
one
open.
liked it. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the cheese that they used,
I don't
or
know. It was very tasteless.
yeah.
Sorry, Cedar Point. This is supposed to be like happy. We always praise you. But
Well, yeah. I
we're
mean,
telling how it is.
constructive criticism. But
Yeah,
I have
your
the menu
cheese
if you don't
sucks.
have the menu, Mr.
Yeah.
Foodie.
No, I remember. Then we had chicken chunks that looked a lot like Chick-fil-A nuggets. They didn't taste like Chick-fil-A nuggets though.
Yeah, they were homemade chicken chunks.
Yeah, they were decent. Buffalo sauce.
Yeah,
They
good.
had French onion soup. They had tomato bisque soup, which was really good.
Yes.
They had, and this is going to be at the Grand Pavilion as one of the side choices, but they had ramen noodle pasta salad. So it was basically pasta salad with lo mein noodles. That was really, really good.
It almost tasted like a interesting version and an interesting take on like a potato salad.
I would just say regular old pasta salad.
Or pasta salad, maybe pasta
with-
salad. Yeah, it had like the same exact taste and the same exact thing, but it was just long noodles, which was interesting. I thought it was good. It was cool.
And then I didn't
different.
try this, but they had a sweet potato salad. It looked
I did.
Like literally
It was
sweet
interesting.
potatoes with lettuce.
It was interesting. There was a lot of sweet potato and mushy lettuce. So
Yeah, it looked interesting. And then they had the farmhouse potatoes,
yes.
which was a nice treat. I missed that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I'm missing something.
Hot dogs.
Oh yeah, I didn't have the hot dogs, but they had hot dogs.
Yeah, they had hot dogs with a topping bar. So they had like all kinds of stuff. They had bacon,
Which was also good for the mac and cheese.
Jalapenos.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of cheese. I put a lot of cheese on my
Yes,
mac
you
and
did.
cheese.
And
but-
bacon.
Yeah. Oh, I put a
Um,
lot of bacon.
And then they had for dessert, they had chocolate cupcakes, they had vanilla cupcakes, and they had fruit cobbler.
The fruit cobbler was freaking amazing. I didn't eat like I ate most of my plate, but literally the fruit cobbler, wow, did I destroy that thing? I literally looked up and I'm like, dang. And the fruit cobbler was like, it was strawberry. So I think last year it was like cherry or something, but
Yeah, they usually go with the cherry theme because of
I wonder
Cheer
if
Fest.
maybe it's going to be strawberry that themed this
that'd
year.
be nice. Change it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Not a lot of people like cherry, so it'll be interesting to see if they change it and do strawberry.
I do. I like cherry.
I think cherry's good for like you can get sweet and also savory. You can get a lot more savory. I'm not a chef and I don't know about food, but I feel like you've got more options for cherry. But maybe you can do something else. I don't know.
Yes. I don't know. Good lunch. We like food, so we're gonna skip Q&A. You said.
Yep.
For now. So then what was next? We went to the laundromat.
Yep.
It smells good in there. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, it smells good in there. There's a lot of stuff that goes through there.
A lot more than you would think.
Right.
A lot more goes into that.
Just a quick rundown. I actually took a picture of like whatever fact sheet that they had there. Hotel Breakers has 669 rooms, which is equivalent to 1,654 beds. Lighthouse Point has 156 rooms, 228 total beds, and 145 RV sites. Cedar Point Express Hotel has 419 rooms. Seat 419. That's the area code for, the Sandusky area, 419. It's kind of funny. And then 300 and
Definitely by design, right?
Right. And then 838 total beds. Castaway Bay has 237 rooms with 742 beds. Sawmill Creek has 239 rooms with 465 beds. So it's very interesting to see and think like, wow, so
yeah.
But it was cool.
And
it was, see
that's
everything
come up in conversation with, I don't think maybe me and you or me and my mom, or I wonder how many rooms are at Breakers. Oh, well, now we know because of this little fact sheet that we happen to see on the wall at the laundromat. So
Yep.
thank
And
you,
it's updated
laundromat
too.
team,
It's
for
got
letting us in.
sawmill and everything, you know.
Yeah,
So
it's all nice and up to date.
but I mean, I'm nerdy about that. I like that kind of nerdy stuff. But then it's cool. It's really cool that like the person that was talking to us about like and giving us the tour and everything, he was saying that, you know, everything's all automated, like all the soap and detergents and
really
whatever
they have to do.
Yeah, there's literally, they just push a button and it literally measures everything out, and they just all they have to do is just like pretty much put the laundry in the, you know, the giant, I mean, this washer is it's like as big as a Mack truck. It's huge.
Yeah.
And you just throw whatever in there, and they weigh it and stuff and everything. And then I asked the question, I'm like, well, what happens if you decide not to weigh it for whatever reason, and it was overweight? The machine actually tells you if it's overweight, and it won't actually run, which is kind of cool. So
yeah, and you saw me just completely mesmerized by the one machine that was folding all the
yeah.
sheets.
So whenever you see like a folded sheet or folded towel and things like that, it literally comes right there. It's pretty cool. And then moving
really
on,
dorky.
Yeah. And then moving on, we got to go to your favorite place, which is
the maintenance shop.
Hey,
another of my favorites.
Yes.
So they had a Rougarou car, a Magnum car, a Corkscrew car, a Vengeance car, I think a Millennium car, a Mine Ride car, and a Wilderness Run car, all on display for us in various stages of complete or not complete from their teardowns and rebuilds. And the maintenance guys are always super willing to answer questions and stuff, and they're super cool. Every year they do a little demonstration on how the block system works, and they have like a control panel off of Shoot the Rapids that they use to show that, which is just dorky and cool. I've seen that presentation probably however many years they've been going through that maintenance shop for Winter Chill Out. That's how many times I've seen it, but it's always cool. And to see how all the PLCs work, and yeah, that's always one of my favorite parts too.
Yes, no, definitely. It's I
could spend a very
really
long time in there.
It was cool because they had a bunch of like little facts and stuff and everything, like that for instance, here's a random fact, and I'll actually just read it. They had fun facts around the maintenance shop. It says Millennium Force and all its components are inspected every morning, including the lift hill. A maintenance team member rides to the top of the lift hill, then climbs a ladder on the drop side to press a button to acknowledge that the lift has been inspected. The timer resets after 28 hours. That's cool.
I knew everything except that 28-hour part. That is cool.
Right. I remember them coming out with like I think it was like Discovery Channel or something, and they talked about how they had to do that. But yeah, I had no idea it was a 28-hour timer. And literally every single day, all the coasters get inspected every single day. But that's just one of the little facts that you know about Millennium Force.
Make sure that it is inspected.
Mm-hmm.
Bonus points if you know what the name of the car is that goes up the hill.
Oh, I know what it is.
Do you?
Yeah.
Let's give our guests or our listeners a little minute to think about it. It is called the funicular.
Yep.
A little bit of trivia.
Yep, for sure.
Really throwing some trivia facts at you today.
It's also called that on Valraven is the funicular.
It is.
So.
And I got to ride in that when I went up the tour during the summer.
Yes.
I always take every opportunity to rub that in your face.
Yeah. Well, we're going to move on.
For like $30, you can go to Busch Gardens Williamsburg and do it on Griffin. So.
It's not the same. It's not the same view. And
it's the James River or Lake Erie. You could do it.
maybe in a future podcast episode, I'll share more of these facts, because they had a lot of facts that I took pictures of. Yeah.
Cool.
So, I don't know. I think everything else, just talking really quick about the maintenance stuff, like everything was like broken down. You could see like what Steel Vengeance looks like behind like everything. You could see more of the components. You can see nuts and bolts. You got to hold actual coaster wheels, which was really cool. You could see how heavy they are. If anybody wants to feel how heavy they are away from the park, I have a Wicked Twister wheel that I won at CoasterCon last year, and it's freaking heavy, and I had to carry it all the way from Point Plaza. Or no, yeah. No, dang
Point
it.
Pavilion.
Point
Basically,
Pavilion.
Windseeker all the way to the front.
Yeah,
or
all the way
cars
from where
parked.
Windseeker is, all the way to the very front of the park, but I wasn't parked in the front. No.
You
I was
parked
parked.
way back.
Yeah, I was parked way back. So I kind of rolled it a little bit, and then it was kind of getting dirty. So then I was like, yeah, this looks weird. So I just carried it the rest of the way. But I was literally in sweat.
I'm just picturing you
Yeah.
walking down the parking lot, just wheeling.
Yep.
Imagine with like people that have no idea what
Yep.
like what that is, what you are.
I'm surprised I never got like caught or like the security guard or whoever was like, hey, are you stealing? Are you stealing a wheel? Like, no, I want it. I have a receipt. I promise. So. But
funny.
But yeah. So all right. So moving on. So we got to go to
What was next then? The arcade.
Yeah, the arcade. Yeah. So we got to put money into the raffle to win the giant.
Did you win?
Steel Vengeance roller coaster that's on display in the arcade that won't be on display anymore when you go back there. I did not win, unfortunately.
Neither did I.
Yeah, there was those. There was a bunch of Cedar Point history books that you could have won, or some Hollow Weekends.
Or Hollow Weekends 25th anniversary flags.
Yes.
That's what I really wanted.
That's what I wanted too. It would have been cool, but unfortunately, no, I didn't.
And they let us play skee-ball and like the hot shot basketball, or it was actually like a Sonic themed basketball game, which was strange.
Yeah.
And air hockey, and we got some time in there for free.
Yeah, they gave us some
goofy,
unlimited cards to use, and we got to do whatever. So, and then after that, we got to see a little bit more. So the problem is the whole entire boardwalk is a hard hat area right now. They don't have
an active construction zone. They were
literally has dirt.
We were there.
Literally has dirt and sand. It doesn't have anything down yet to like walk on.
And mud.
Yeah, and mud. So we weren't able to walk over there, unfortunately, but we were able to walk over by the bumper cars and kind of get a good glimpse of Wild Mouse. And
it's very bright. It's very pretty.
It is very nice. I can't wait to literally walk next to it and see, what it's gonna look like, what it looks like on the midway, and so on and so forth. You could also see, the Grand Pavilion. That's still under heavy construction on the outsides. It looks like they're starting to put like the facade on and starting to get some color, which is nice. Because we only have 66 days, if you want to think about it, and then probably media days, so maybe 65 or 64 days that it needs to get together. It's crazy because like they started in like July or so.
Yeah.
And they're still
that building. It's such a huge deal.
Yeah. We'll talk about that in the Q&A.
Yeah, because they showed a little stuff.
We talk about that. So we got to see all that. We got to also see. It looked like not confirming, but it almost looked like Top Thrill Dragster's speaker over by the in the back area by the arcade.
Behind the arcade, yeah.
Yeah.
If that was a dragster speaker,
it looks like
it looked like it came off of like the transfer area.
Yeah, it looked like that was one of the giant speakers. So that'll be interesting to see if they're going to use that, or if it's just sitting over there just because, that's
or it's a speaker from the main midway and we're just being dorky and weird. But
it's possible. That's possible. But yeah. So then we got to walk, and then we got to go. Obviously, we got to go gift shopping.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
oh, you know what? So sorry, we forgot wardrobe. We got to go into the wardrobe. Oh, yeah. We couldn't take any pictures. We weren't allowed to take pictures in there. We got to see all the costumes, all the wigs, props,
Mr. Midnight's.
Yeah, we got
Hollow
to see
Weekends. We saw Mr. Midnight's costume in the fog.
Yeah,
I hope they bring back Mr. Midnight.
Mr.
I really
Midnight.
love that character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope so. I hope that it's not just like a one and done kind of thing. I hope
He needs to be like the Cedar Point Hollow Weekends icon for years to come.
Yeah, I agree.
I think kind of Six Flags has kind of done that with like Knox and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cedar Point needs to jump on that. I think it's cool.
I think so as well. And now we got to go over to the gift shop. And
so yeah,
we
spent money to go to Winter Chill Out and spend money.
Right. Yeah. So they had a bunch of brand new merch on there. They had the Wild Mouse, a bunch of new t-shirts and hoodies, things like that. They also had Evan. You want
Magnets.
to talk about your buttons? They have their whole entire button list.
Not the entire. They didn't release all of them yet. That poster didn't show all of them. I was talking to one of the workers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there will be still some more that are released, when the park
Throughout the year.
opens.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we
But they
pretty
did have
much
quite a few on sale that were all the common buttons. I
Mhm.
bought them all, which was really stupid in retrospect because I'm gonna wind up getting them all in blind packs anyways.
Right.
But
That's where I
yeah.
come in, and I take all your like duplicates because you give your duplicates to your girlfriend, and then
then my second duplicate to my mom if it's a series that she wants, and then that's where you jump in.
Yeah.
Or you could just buy them for $1.
You could. I don't think they're just $1, but
$1.50, whatever.
But well, we don't know the price. Maybe inflation. You never know, right?
On the darn buttons.
But yeah, so the button series we've got. I'll just talk a little bit about it. We got coaster logo series. We got Wild Mouse car series, which is all the colors. We've got Cedar Point Lake Erie Railroad series.
Hold on, going back to the mouse. All the colors and names. The cars are named. Do you want to read the names?
Let's save that for the Q&A when we talk about it at the end.
Okay, because that was told to us.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the map series 2, which is really cool. We've got a height signs series 3. We've got anniversary series. We've got the boardwalk series. There's no pictures of that, just as coming soon, which is interesting. We've got coaster signage series, and we've got the seagull series, which is really cool. I like that. It looks like they
that was really cute.
They animated the seagull. What's his seagull's name?
I think that one's Steve.
Steve. Yeah, it's probably Steve taking a bunch of pictures. It looks like with all the coasters and stuff. Looks really cool. And then they got a monthly series, which is like tie-dye, and looks like there's an Easter egg.
January's is like a snowy one, and then the second one is for February, and it's like all hearts and stuff, and then March has like leprechauns and crap.
All kinds of stuff. If you want to see the pictures, I did take some pictures of the actual sign, so you can see like what's going on with whatever, and everything is all go on, and yeah, so it'll be interesting. But anyway, so you want to talk a little bit more about the merch?
So of course they had made to thrill stuff there, and since the park closed, they've released a whole Mantis series. So they had a Mantis t-shirt, a Mantis pin, patch, magnet maybe, and the poster.
Yes.
I bought a poster and a pin, and my mom got a patch.
Nice.
It was cool to see a bunch of Mantis stuff for once.
Yeah.
They've released probably their last 2 nano coasters until there is a new ride, which is Wild Mouse and Gemini.
Yep.
And the Gemini one looks really cool. I thought that when they finally did a Gemini one, I thought it would be kind of bland and stupid looking, but it looks really good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just a bunch of random, just like Cedar Point, like sunset style sweatshirts and t-shirts, and t-shirts with all the coaster names on them. And one of them is the one I got. Throw one.
Yeah, the made to throw one. The Subway series, I think, is what they were calling it.
Yes. Let's see. There was also.
It has all of your favorite coasters. Every single coaster. It's got Magnum. It's got Steel Vengeance. It's in different fonts, but like it's the same color. It's a black tee. It looks very simple and clean. I think it looks really cool. So
they had canvases. I think some new ones, some old ones. They had those big Fathead posters on sale, which those have been on sale online during most of the off season.
I think it was cool to see how big they are or how small, like because they have like 2 different sizes, but like I really like the big one, but they're like $85. But I know Fatheads are like really good quality because I bought a few Fatheads before, so I know what I'm getting.
If I were like younger and still had like a bedroom with posters and all that kind of crap, it'd be all over.
But that's the thing is like if you have like a young child or something and he's like, oh my gosh, I really want a Cedar Point like roller coaster room, you could get a bunch of posters, you can get a bunch of Fatheads, stick them on the wall, or stick them on the wall and things like that for her as well, and just decorate the room. And you've got
Fatheads look very clean and you do it right.
And it's very really easily cool. Like you remove them, you can move them, you can do whatever you want. So, and then they also had the Wild Mouse cutouts, the little tiny.
Yes. I bought the cheese car.
Yeah.
And put it together that night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, so we touched on a bunch of all that stuff and everything. So
Couple of the t-shirt series and whatnot.
yeah, it's
so I think
good.
it's time to head over to the Q&A again.
Yeah, so let's start it with the Q&A. So first of all, we learned that the Wild Mouse is going to have obviously different colored trains. We learned about the colors. I don't remember the colors unless you remember of them.
It was totally thinking. Well, you have the picture of the buttons. That's what you
I
refer
do
to
have
that because that's correct and has the names
yes,
associated.
I do have the picture of the buttons, and so
there's the cheese car.
There is a cheese car that doesn't have a name. It's just the cheese car. Yes. The other one is like the orange one. That one's called Chase.
Okay.
The purple one is called Zaggy. The green one is called Dizzy. The I guess you could say sky blue is Larry. I guess
Okay.
Tony said Larry is one of the maintenance guys names or something.
Confirm that they were messing with him, or if they just pulled Larry out.
Right.
Of the
So I actually think that's really funny, and I love that like these are all like random.
If I don't get the cheese car, I want Larry.
Yeah, I want Larry. Yes, exactly. And then there's also like the same color blue, but it's like a different color on the actual car. Yeah. More royal blue is Maisie. Okay. And then the last one is Ziggy. So I'm going to say them all fast, and it kind of like, so cheese car. Okay. And then you got Chase, Ziggy, Dizzy, Maisie, Ziggy, and Larry. So
yep. There's your names.
Like, we've got another car. What are we going to name it? And then there's like some guy, like there's probably Larry that's in like the thing. They're like, why don't we name it Larry? And he's like, yeah,
sure. Why not? It's 5
or
seconds.
Maybe not. Maybe it didn't go like that, but that's how I think about it in my head. So, but anyway, Evan, you want to throw some facts down?
So what was next? Okay. So they showed the new color schemes for Matterhorn, Scrambler, and Tiki Twirl, now Calypso. Matterhorn's basically going to kind of look the same, but the blue is going to be a little darker blue, and they're going to throw some purple in there. Scrambler, which is now Atomic Scrambler, has a more pastel-y color scheme. I'm sure this stuff is probably going to be posted by the park soon-ish.
Yes, I would assume.
But yeah, this was all concept art shown to us that we could not take pictures of. But yeah, it's kind of a more pastel-y color scheme. And then Calypso is kind of going back to the same color scheme that it was when it was still Calypso and over by Blue Streak. So that was that. And then what else? I guess we could talk about Grand Pavilion and the concept art that we saw from that and the menu. Because they did give away the menu. Should I go menu or talk about the concept art?
Let's do menu since you're a foodie, and I'll talk about the concept art.
Right. So, well, first off, he answered this question before anybody could even ask it because we all knew it was coming. Grand Pavilion will be on the meal plan, and I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's gonna be the same deal as other places where you get an entree and side. So he really quickly went through the menu, and we kind of wrote down a list of what we heard, and we were definitely missing some things that he said, but what we did get was basically the main entrees.
It helps that we had like multiple brains like thinking at the same time, or like, okay, you remember 5 and you remember 3 and you remember so.
God, we're such dorks.
Right.
But I love it. So dry rubbed pork tenderloin, slow roasted turkey breast, island pineapple chicken, Creole butter shrimp, daily carved rotisserie sandwich, and I took that to mean kind of like a French dip prime rib sandwich, probably, which I have very high hopes for. Beer battered walleye, steak fries, cold ramen noodle salad, which is what we tried at the lunch for the day, and it was super good. And key lime pie. I know he said other things, but that's what we were able to piece together. Probably more side dishy stuff.
Yeah, it was
probably
more
like fresh fruit, maybe a different type of pie. I don't know.
I was gonna say
I thought I heard something else about chicken
or pizza, maybe. I thought it maybe something about pizza.
Again, probably stuff that'll be posted soon. But
it's I'm interested because like I remember like when when this was like not announced yet and there was rumors and stuff and they were like, oh yeah, it's going to be like a sit down restaurant and things like that.
Mhm.
Well, this is definitely not it. This is not what they're going for, which is really
Yes.
nice. I like this. It
So-
sounds like in my head, and maybe you can agree and disagree, but it sounds like it's literally going to be like kind of like a quick serve fast food fast food place. You go up and maybe
the same style as Farmhouse or Backbeat or Hugo's.
yes, but you have the option of staying indoors and enjoying the beach view, or
Mhm.
sitting at a table and maybe getting warm, on a cold day
Yeah.
or something, or just hanging out and having a drink and stuff. So
Mhm.
jumping right into what it looks like, I'm trying to bring it around a little bit. So there's like a really cool like facade and it's all white and it's really almost like, to me it almost looked like a throwback and it didn't look like very super crazy modern.
Oh, they're definitely going to trying to make it look like it did, back
Like
in the
back,
1800s.
yes, yeah, because actually in the actual Grand Pavilion that's currently at Cedar Point right now, besides this one that's being built, that's now like a convention center, and then they use and stuff, but they actually have like the around the walls and stuff that you don't see anymore. They've got like, I don't know if it's Tiffany glass or something, but they've got stained glass.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and they're actually moving it so because it's original to the building, and they're actually removing that glass and they're moving it over to where the new Grand Pavilion is.
Yeah, and that's going to be
And
very heavily featured.
it's going to be it's going to be in the middle, and it was cool because there's like ceiling fans and stuff. It was all white, and it was cool because Tony said that all of the big windows that you see on the side will actually, you'll be able to open them and stuff, so all the mayflies could come in. I mean,
yeah,
right.
But it'll be really the way I took it, and I think he might have said this, is you're going to enter and it's going to be that same setup where you pick your food, then check out, and then it seems like on both sides of the Grand Pavilion there's going to be a large dining room with windows 360 around.
Very retro-y, very, I'd say like
Victorian,
like
very
70s,
Victorian
60s,
era.
70s area kind of. It felt like
I took it like 1870s era.
Okay.
Like very, very old Victorian style.
But it looked really classy and good,
Very
and they had
classy.
like very like high up lighting and stuff.
It looks like what I assume Hotel Breakers looked like when it opened.
Yes, I could see that. Yes.
What I assume. And then the second floor is going to have first three patios, one on each, like the left and right of the pavilion, and then one overlooking the lake, a snack bar, and a very, very large, typical like restaurant style bar with TVs,
very large,
very classy looking. And like I said, then the patios overlooking the lake. That's going to be a very popular spot during the summer. And I can only assume that they're going to have a lot of maybe some after hours events that kind of incorporate Grand Pavilion and, enjoying the lake breeze on a hot summer night. That'll be a fantastic place to watch the fireworks.
I was going to say, I wonder if they'll do like, I know how they do
that spot like at 2:00 on the 4th of July.
I was going to say, maybe they'll sell tickets and have it be a specific, like you have to have a ticket, and that'll be the only VIP area because they normally do a VIP area on the beach, but why not do it in the Grand Pavilion and sell tickets?
Maybe we shouldn't have said anything, and think we just blew our chances of being there for the fireworks.
Hey, you know what? Whoever's got big boy jobs and whoever can afford it will do it. So I don't know. I think it'll be really cool. And it just looks amazing. So we didn't get to actually see pictures of construction going on in there. I was kind of sad that we didn't get to see any of that during the Q&A.
But the concept art
looked really cool. So
yes. Yeah.
And
then let's see. So I think that's about all he said for Boardwalk. Oh, the Boardwalk's going to have two very nice giant signs on either end of it in the park. That's going to be styled after, I think, the 1960s or 70s logo. It's like the individual letters. Each letter. If you remember the floats from the parade the last couple of years, the Hotel Breakers float had a sign on it that said Hotel Breakers. It's going to be that style.
Yeah.
And it's just going to say the Boardwalk, and it's going to be on either side, and it's going to be really pretty. And
Tony did Tony did say that, the giant marquee sign that's on, over by Cleveland Road, right by Thirsty Pony, when you drive into the park, if you go on the causeway, everyone's like, oh, it looks like a bank sign. It looks like a bank sign. Well, he said there was going to be a lot more things added to that. But unfortunately,
COVID and
he said the pandemic happened. So,
and it kind of worked out in their favor because they were going to have to rip it out anyways, because they're building a roundabout there, or the city's building a roundabout there, and they're going to have to move their sign.
Right. So it looks like that was almost going to be part of the sign, which would have been really, really cool. But I'm happy that board, it's going to say boardwalk instead of Cedar Point.
Yeah, it's going to be very pretty.
But it looks really, really cool and very retro. And yeah, and then a quick note, some other people were asking in the Q&A, I know that you will not be able to enter the boardwalk from the beach side. You have to be inside the park to go in there.
Yeah, Grand Pavilion will not have doors leading out to the beach.
Yep. So there's that.
You'll have to enter through the Windseeker gate or the main entrance, I suppose. Let's see. I think that's all that was said about the boardwalk. Then we mentioned that Forbidden Frontier is gone, Mac Shack is gone, Chick-fil-A's gone, Wild Turn Up is gone, Senor Vargas is now a bar, and Walking Tacos are being moved over to Derby Dogs. I feel like a lot of the questions he answered, we've already know the answers to. At least we do, because I'm not going to say we're in the know, but we pay attention. Let's see. Iron Dragon's going to be open this year, even though there's track missing.
Yep.
I assume they'll replace the track before the park opens.
Right. Well, I mean, if they have a delay in construction, who knows,
Or, Thrillville off the rails style. If anybody remembers that old game.
Yeah, for sure.
I know there was other things said, but maybe nothing of consequence really.
Well, he did say, I know there was a few questions that they were asking about the Town Hall Museum remodel. It's
still indefinitely on hold.
Yeah,
He didn't necessarily say it was like chopped off, but he did also say like, hey, a lot of the stuff that we might have put in there might show up in the park in other ways, in other forms. Like the disaster transport robot dude that was in, what's its name? That was in Gatekeeper's gift shop. It has a name. I know it has a name.
Yeah, I can't remember. There's also someone. There's also Cedar Point Nights isn't going to return. I guess supposedly
in its current form.
In its current form is what was mumbled afterwards. Yes. So it wasn't saying it, but yeah. So that'll be interesting to see what they do. And then they also said that the early entry list for this year is going to be released soon.
Very soon. There will be no pass holder ride nights again. Boo.
Yeah.
I really miss those. That was.
I hope that they come out with the Prestige Plus pass or something, and they're like, hey,
you guys get ride nights. I would upgrade immediately. Just saying, Cedar Point, if you want my money.
Hey, maybe they just close it out and then you can't get a pass.
I'd be very sad. I miss the ride nights so much. That was like that was the perk for me for the pass.
Yeah.
They said Wild Mouse won't have any ride photos, which makes sense, being that you're going to be spinning, and half the ride photos would just be the backs of your head.
That is true. I did find it kind of sad, but they also said that there's not going to be any season pass preview for the Wild Mouse either, because I know that was
like there's a lot of negative news. While it was all negative news, there's so much to look forward to.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In a way, because of the negative news, like yes, Wild Turn Up and Chick-fil-A and Forbidden Frontier, all the stuff is closing, but it's opening up so many opportunities and awesome potentials for.
It's also
whatever for the future of the park.
I was like, you also have to think that not trying to be that guy, but a lot of those locations that, like, obviously besides Chick-fil-A,
they weren't popular.
Open. They weren't open. Hardly at all last year. So
Mac Shack was, it opened like grand opening like towards the end of the 2020 season, and I don't think during of the operating days between closing day this past year and when it first opened, I don't think it operated half of them.
Yeah.
And when it did, it wasn't busy. So
Yeah,
it makes
so
sense. I mean, Tony always says people vote with their feet. He said that on multiple occasions about multiple rides, Wicked Twister.
he said that about from Forbidden Frontier.
Yes, that was where I was going with that.
So my question is so with Forbidden Frontier, does that affect Blood on the Bayou? Does that come back?
Well, will Blood on the Bayou just return to where it was? Because
probably not this year.
This hasn't ever been confirmed, but I have a feeling that the reason that Blood on the Bayou was out on the island was a hasty last-minute change after the incident with Dragster.
Maybe.
And they probably really kept it there this year because they just don't want people peeking at Dragster, or didn't at that point.
Well, it's probably if maybe they're going to be under crazy construction by that time, you know?
So, but maybe, I don't know, maybe they'll have a new haunt on the boardwalk, like a Carnival style, and they'll just axe Blood on the Bayou, but you know, they'll -1. But
I thought it was good last year. I thought they definitely took a step forward from the first year. So
I hate where it is. If they're gonna do Blood on the Bayou,
it does take forever to get over there. That's the only. It's like
it's too much of a time commitment for me for an outdoor haunt.
You have to commit like 45 minutes at least.
Yeah, and it's not.
You know,
I don't know. Outdoor haunts don't do it for me.
Yeah,
but
I don't think there's anything else. I know that they raised money. They raised over $150,000 plus towards a kid again, which is really cool.
Ticket sales hit 150,000, and then the raffle for the Steel Vengeance model was also going towards that. So I don't know how much they actually wound up making, but it was more than 150,000 because each of those raffle tickets was $25.
Evan, do you want to give like a 30-second blurb about a kid again and what it is?
Yeah, so A Kid Again is, I believe it's based out of Orlando, actually. Or is that Give Kids the World, or is that a separate thing?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. It's an organization that basically gives kids with life-threatening illnesses or chronic illnesses or whatever, it puts them and their families, maybe not on necessarily vacations, but like fun day outings to certain things to quote unquote feel like a kid again and kind of forget about the stress of
everything that's going on.
And they had a rep there at the Q&A that, you know, talked about they go to Cedar Point, they go to Kings Island, they go to Guardians games, they go to the zoo, they do all this different stuff. So this money that the park raised for charity allows them to do that because A Kid Again is a nonprofit. And so basically they couldn't do this stuff without charity events like the Winter Chill Out and whatever other parks and nonprofit and other charitable people and organizations do to help give A Kid Again, you know,
for sure,
funding that they need to do this. And I probably should do my research because I don't know if it's linked with the Give Kids the World Village or not. That's probably something Kyle would know.
I don't think so, but I'm not.
Give Kids the World is a similar thing that the parks also work with a lot, and
they're able to go
check them both out and give them money.
It's really cool. I was just say Give Kids the World. It's really cool because like you can literally stay like there and have
more of a vacation-y type
ice cream for breakfast and so on and so forth. But yeah, definitely great charities. Go check them out. You know, go Google search A Kid Again and Give Kids the World because they do a lot of great things with amusement parks and yeah. So Evan, is there anything else that we missed? I think we're done with our tour.
Yeah, that was, I kind of like the Winter Chill Out this year. It was kind of short but sweet, quick boom, 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 which I kind of liked. The Winter Chill Out was, bottom line, I really enjoyed the Winter Chill Out this year, and just gets me that much more excited for the park to open.
Yeah, I think it was really exciting. I liked that it was a guided tour because I'm bad at planning for time management.
So you hit everything.
I will literally be in the sign shop for 4 hours, and then I'll be in the maintenance shop for 4 hours, another of like 4 or 5 hours, and then I'll be like, oh, I want to go see. Oh, it's dark, and we got to go home. Oops.
Yeah.
So that's my bad, but I fixed it the next year and went it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then so.
And you came with me, so I kept you moving.
Yeah, you sure did. Yeah. I need somebody to do a guided tour for me if I don't have one from the park.
Right.
But yeah, so it was a good time. So next episode we're gonna be talking about Evan, your giant
Yes, finally.
Florida trip.
And it's going to come later this week. We'll have the rundown ding of everything my girlfriend and I, Maya, did in Florida. It was, in the best way to put it was a hell of a trip. It was just mind blowing.
Got yourself all worn out. That's for sure.
Yes, I slept for like 14 hours.
Not
the next day because I had work, but the day after that.
Not a minute was spared with you. Like
No.
Literally, you had everything planned.
Except the traffic that we hit on I-4 on the way to SeaWorld. So we're gonna have Maya back on, I think, if as long as scheduling works out.
Yep.
We'll talk through everything, and we'll also hear about your Disney trip, your first time at Disney, and that was a hell of a day for you. Three of the 4 parks at Disney.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a fun episode, and we'll have Kyle back to basically just hear us gush over everything he gets to do every single day.
He's like, oh yeah, I got to do that 3 times today, and I got
you
to
rode
see
Velocicoaster 3 times. Well, I rode Velocicoaster 30 times this week.
Right.
Sure.
But
Just kidding.
Guys,
Kyle, we wouldn't have a podcast without you. So
yeah, we love you, Kyle. We miss you. He will be back next week for sure.
Or later this week, whatever we decide to record.
Yeah, or later this week. I guess we'll have to see what our schedules do.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening to us, and we will talk to you guys on the next podcast.
Sounds good.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to the Rundown on Fun. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Cedar Fair. As always, be kind to your ride operators, and we will see you on the Midway. Good night.